I am a serial entrepreneur. It started with, I owned one of the first Sears hometown dealer stores. And so that was my first foray into entrepreneurship. But while I was doing that, I started a bounce house rental business. So I wasn't necessarily seeking that out, because when I was with SBDCs, I advised both men and women. But as I was recruited here to Texas Women's University, it is the only woman-focused university system in the United States. Well, I have several, but first of all, I'll say the best time to start a business is when you're working a job. Reason being, and I'm sure you've seen this, Mitchell, first 2 years, no one wants to help you. They don't want to fund you. Those opportunities aren't there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Career Education Learning Center podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Rivers. I am honored and privileged to have on our show today, Tracy Irby. Tracy is the director of the Texas Women's University Center for Women Entrepreneurs. How are you doing today, Tracy?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Mitchell.
Oh, thank you for coming by our show today. It's going to be a pleasure talking to you today, and I know my audience is going to learn a lot from you.
Great. We love helping entrepreneurs here.
And I've seen your profile, Tracy, and it's very impressive. And you're already energetic starting the show off, so I can see the passion you have for that. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey to your current career at the Women's Center.
Okay, great. So I am a serial entrepreneur. It started with, I owned one of the first Sears hometown dealer stores. And so that was my first foray into entrepreneurship. But while I was doing that, I started a bounce house rental business. And I love that, because if you've ever been in retail, it's nice to do something else where 100% of your customers are happy. And that was the inflatable business. From there, I also owned a gym. I had a self-defense company. Well, I think I shared with you personally that I've been an insurance agent for years.
Yes.
So I was doing Medicare sales, and you'd go into homes. And one day I went somewhere and a young man said, somebody saw that necklace you were wearing. They'd rip it off your neck. I'm like, oh my gosh. So from there, I started a non-lethal self-defense company where I sold pepper spray and stun guns and all kinds of interesting gadgets for safety, because sometimes women especially, we may not be thinking about the situations that we're going into. In addition to that, I'd been a property investor as well. And so I took care of my dad for several years after my mom passed away. And I thought, well, let me just see about getting a job after I'm finished with this. And a lot of people don't know what the heck to do with entrepreneurs for a job. They'll look at that. You've done all this. What am I going to do with somebody like this? Well, I lucked in and got hired by small business development centers where I was advising small business clients. So it was great. I didn't have to have a business at that point. I was helping others reach the same goals. And so it was great. So my boss found me at one and recruited me here to Texas Women's University, where I started as their first small business advisor, helped get that program together, and then moved my way up from associate director to director.
Wow. And I did not know, ladies and gentlemen, it's amazing when you interview people that you know good well not to mess with them physically, okay? I did not know that. Not only is he an entrepreneur, but he's also a self-defense entrepreneur, so make sure you don't grab into the Tracy's.
Exactly. I've told people, you'd be amazed what all is in my house.
So it's amazing how that new term is coined now, serial entrepreneur. I was telling one of my guests earlier, whenever I think of serial, I would think of serial killers. But, you know, now you got the thing serial entrepreneur, which is great. And it's a better word to have than serial killer. So I like that better.
Hey, I'm with you on that. I like serial entrepreneurs much better.
So did you always want to be an entrepreneur when you were younger, in high school or college? Or did you have other dreams that you want to become?
I don't think I had aspirations at that time for entrepreneurship, but from a very, very young age, I was a worker. I like work. I don't know.
That's good. That's something that I'm sure my parents would love you.
So there were many different things that I did when I was younger. Some very fun. I had a short stint working at Capitol Records. So that was a lot of fun. We get free concert tickets and backstage passes. But again, I didn't really read that or think I was going into entrepreneurship, but I always had ideas. So maybe it was back there, but I didn't put it together as being entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are a lot of jobs that we get when you're younger, and sometimes those skills which you develop while you're doing those jobs are transferring to jobs that you have now. And so we'd be amazed at how many jobs that we did back in the day that's transferable to the jobs that we do now, especially being an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about the Women's University Center and what y'all do there for help women entrepreneurs.
Okay, great. Happy to share that. So we are funded by the state legislature of Texas just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in Texas.
Oh.
So we do that through free, all of our services are free. So we do that through free small business advising. So one-on-one with clients. We do network and training events. We have, now our training events, I can tell you, we put them all on YouTube, but our Women Rise and some of the other, we get people from across the country and across the world.
Wow.
It's amazing how many have started attending those. We also do Accelerate Her training programs. They're 15-week programs intended for early startups to help give them the tools that they need to grow their business. And then finally, and probably everybody's favorite, is we do grant funding for women-owned businesses in Texas.
Ooh,
so
that is fantastic.
Yes. So right now we do have our Veteran Woman Entrepreneur Grant. So if you have any listeners in Texas, that's open. But we also have a Start Her grant we do in the fall of every year. And for 3 years, this will be our fourth, we do a rural grant. Because I don't know if you know, but Texas is gigantic. Yes. And we will have 254 counties. And so many of those in rural areas, they really don't have the technical assistance or programs or some of the other things that you would have in bigger metropolitan areas. Yes. So that's why we focus on them as well.
Well, I live in North Carolina, and I thought it's great that we have 100 counties. And everything's big in Texas, right?
Yes, and our goal this year, we have about 60 counties we feel like we haven't touched, so we're going to get women from all of those. We're really focusing on those last 60 so we can say we have helped women in every county in Texas.
And I think that's fantastic. Did you intentionally want to do just women's only to really concentrate on women? And what are some of the challenges that women face more than their counterparts?
Okay. So I wasn't necessarily seeking that out because when I was with SBDCs, I advised both men and women. But as I was recruited here to Texas Women's University, it is the only woman-focused university system in the United States, and we are funded by the state to promote women. So that's why we do it. And I do want to say Texas Women's does have male students, and we have done some advising here. The only things really they can't participate in is our grant funding. But funding is always a big issue for women. They get a lot less than men. And then when you look into venture capital, they probably only get about 3% of the numbers that men are getting in that. But I do know for most, funding, especially early stage, is difficult for all entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. You know, there's no doubt we live in a male-dominated world. I won't say society, but world. And so, and especially if women happen to have children with that, even makes it more hard to get funding or whatever, or even people to believe in you because they say, well, you got children or whatever, you know, but you have this great idea as a woman. I may have children, I may have responsibilities, but still, you know, I can come with this idea and make a profitable product or service that I would like to see that you can fund. And so I know there's many challenges. I grew up with a single mother. My father died when I was younger. And so the challenge that my mother had, and she taught at the university, at the community college in my city, is that there are many more challenges that women face than men. And I definitely in the business world, I still think we have ways to go to make sure women get the proper funding and mentoring there. How important is mentorship? And it seems like y'all do a lot of mentorship for women entrepreneurs.
Oh, you're exactly right. So we do a lot of advising, and it's great because so many times people don't know all the steps to entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. When I started, I didn't know. So it's good to talk with people who have been there and can give you guidance.
So Tracy, I know we talk about funding and raising money and capital for women to get started. Is grant a way to get funding in the beginning or starting a business?
There are many grant opportunities out there now. And I just love this, Mitchell, because when I was with small business development centers and there weren't any grants back there. So many of them really became more popular for-profit businesses after COVID. That they're a whole lot more than ever before. But someone should always consider that a windfall and not a way to fund their whole business. But it's great. So I've told you we have several different programs, but we don't just give people money. We make them go through have 3 hours of small business advising. We make them go through a 4-week small business training course that we do. We make them complete a full business plan with financials, and then send us our receipts. But grants is a good way. It is an opportunity. There's so many more out there than have ever been out there before. There are many specific for women, but there's grants out there for everybody.
Yeah, you know, I think me as being an entrepreneur myself, I think grants is a great windfall. I think a lot of entrepreneurs starting out, and even I had this misconception that, you know, the grant was to fund my whole startup. And you saying it's more of a windfall and don't just depend on grants, but use other resources in order to fund my capital. Is that correct?
Yes, because I tell you, anybody, even if it's a grant or something else, we want to see you have skin in the game, that you are putting your own money and funding into your business as well.
Oh, and I get that. You know, like I said, there's thousands of grants out there. Do you have them navigate what grant is best for them as far as like whether they're in services or products or radio, television, or one of online marketing? You have specific grants that you can point them to? Because there's so many out there, as you stated before.
Right. And some are just generic in part. So you want to make sure that you read clearly what they're looking for. Who is the target? You know, obviously, if it's for women, women can apply. There are some, again, in the arts and other areas. But one thing I want everyone to be aware of, Mitchell, there are so many scams out there right now that you want to make sure you are dealing with somebody legit. I had someone that sent me a message one day saying, I got a text that I won this grant for $25,000. Well, it wasn't ours, but the name was a little bit similar. Yeah. So I said, what was the name of that? And so I went online and started reading. And page 1 was kind of okay. There are a few words that were off. Page 2 was even worse. Then somewhere it said, we are very trusted. And then I go back to the application and it asked for their driver's license and some personal information. You never have to give that kind of information. So I actually reported that to the FTC because it was clearly a scam.
Yes.
And when I looked up the location, the address that they had, you're going to laugh at this. It was a parking lot in Iceland.
You right about that?
Yeah.
Parking lot in Iceland. Wow. I don't know how to scam people or whatever, but I would have never thought it would be a parking lot.
So it's like, okay, yeah, this really isn't a legitimate grant. And they're probably not going to be texting you either. So everyone should be very careful and verify the information that's in the grant. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. I tell people also, and I find out if you didn't apply for that grant, I don't know how you receive that money for that grant, you know? And even though I was applying for grants, because once you apply for grants, the scammers get a hold of that. And then they say, well, you won this. I'm like, well, how can I win something I didn't apply for? You know, you're like trying to win a lottery, right? I would love they would get me to win a lottery by buying a lottery ticket, but you at least have to buy a lottery ticket before you win the lottery.
Right. So everyone needs to do their own due diligence ahead of time. And if it looks fishy and if they're asking just for you to apply to give personal information, credit card, social security number, any of that, don't do it. It's not legit.
Yeah, just don't do it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't do it. And Tracy, you're also an entrepreneur yourself. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurship as far as you, since you're a serial entrepreneur.
Well, I gave you some of it, but I think all of that will always be a part of me. Again, there was the Sears, the bounce house rental business, licensed insurance agent. I still do that. So again, we have that in common. So I really like that a lot. I still have a lot of ideas, but for so many years, I think my entrepreneurial wishes, dreams, whatever, I've been able to do by helping others with it. So, but I'm always going to be doing something. And I figure I'll be an entrepreneur as long as possible. I figure as long as my head is still good.
Your hair looks good. Your hair looks good today, Tracy.
Oh, well, thank you. I meant that my brain is still good. I'll probably still be pursuing different entrepreneurial ventures myself.
That's fantastic. Because not only that, ladies and gentlemen, but she also is an adjunct professor. What courses do you teach? And does that experience being an entrepreneur yourself helps other people, especially people in the class, realize, hey, she knows what she's talking about?
Well, I did teach entrepreneurship, so that was kind of a given that I know quite a bit about that. So I really enjoyed that. I've also, for the last 6 or 8 years, done top marketing. So I really like that because that's so important to everybody in business that you have to be able to promote it. So I like that as well. And my degrees have been focused in marketing. So I really like that. And veering a little off of that, I do a lot of continuing ed myself or classes.
Man.
I mean, and if you're in marketing, you need to be doing that all the time. I think it's so great now from when I was an entrepreneur until now, the way you can create content now like never before with AI and other things like that it's amazing how much more you can do to promote your business. I mean, when I was back there years ago, I'd be doing search engine optimization. It would be after my kids had gone to bed or something. Let me put my business in 5 more directories. But today things are so much easier to promote a business than ever before, that it's exciting. So that in the marketing and AI and all of the free tools that are out there today, it's a great time to be an entrepreneur.
Well, we like hearing that. And what about social media? How much has social media made it easier and much of an impact these days on marketing?
Oh my God, it's incredible because you can find clients from day one doing that and just getting out. And now as it continues to grow in shorts and YouTube, I mean, we're seeing millionaires in all of these areas now that never were before. They're marketing or promoting businesses online. Now, I work for a state agency in Texas, a university, so we can't have TikTok on any of our devices. But, oh my gosh, I follow it and it's like TikTok is making millionaires that weren't there before. So it's amazing now the opportunity, the marketing, and what social media has, and how quickly you can reach people today than you ever could before.
I totally agree. In fact, my podcast, the Career Education Learning Center, I ran as a nonprofit between 2007 and 2013, where I went to schools, recreation centers, libraries, and gave seminar workshops. Well, that's why I started my podcast, because I had the opportunity to reach even more people and more students, and do the content that I want to do on this podcast. And so I know now that YouTubers are millionaires. I know that people that do a lot of food critics, a lot of food people. My gracious, so many food people. And I follow 5 myself, Tracy. The most people I follow is the food people in restaurants. And it's just amazing how social media has really added another dimension to business, and startups, because you don't have to require as much capital as it used to when you want to start a business. Would you agree?
Oh my gosh, I agree 100%. And you'll laugh because, again, we've talked about insurance, and I have been watching some lately on there. Even people in the insurance industry are talking about insurance online.
Yes.
So, fields that it's just amazing to me, again, with social media, how fast and how much you can learn online and grow a business.
It really is. And I think Texas, and I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so our community college, which I graduated from, Central Piedmont Community College, has a great small business center, which I use and utilize. And they do a fantastic job of getting all kinds of information and events and seminars and workshops and online workshops that helps entrepreneurs here in the Charlotte area. And I noticed on your profile that your center is up for some awards and have won some awards. Can you tell us about how well your center's been doing?
Oh, well, thank you. I love that. Yeah, and that's just kind of icing on the cake when we win those. We have gotten the Educator of the Year award. We've gotten for our University of the Year for our entrepreneurship endeavors. Oh my gosh, many of them related to our program. So we have a growing list of awards that we're receiving. And we are just so thankful about it, because truly that is showing that our work with entrepreneurs is working.
Yes, it does. It is icing on the cake. Ladies and gentlemen, you see why I was so happy to get Tracy on our show today? This woman is doing it all. Tracy, do you have any advice for women entrepreneurs or women who want to start entrepreneurship? I know during the COVID was the biggest increase of entrepreneurs with women during the COVID, when a lot of them lost jobs, or they lost a lot of jobs or laid off because of COVID, but a lot of them started their own businesses. And so do you have any advice for women who want to start their own businesses? Maybe they have kids, maybe they're tired of the 9 to 5. What advice or suggestions do you give them?
Okay, well, I have several, but first of all, I'll say the best time to start a business is when you're working a job.
Okay.
Reason being, and I'm sure you've seen this, Mitchell, first 2 years, no one wants to help you. They don't want to fund you. Those opportunities aren't there. 2 years is like a magic number if you want to go to get funding, certifications for your business, that sort of thing. The other is women often, and men too, we have ideas on these and we're waiting till it's perfect. Well, guess what? It's never going to be perfect. If you want it, just get out there and do it. Get started. Don't wait till your business plan is perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. And you may go all the way through that with the plan and say you're ready. I can tell you, no one ever had a pandemic as something in their business plan.
All right.
So you have to be able to pivot. But truly, if you want to do it, first do your research. Truly know who your ideal client is. If not, you're wasting money on advertising. We have a lot of people, and I laugh about this, they've gotten into our accelerator program and they said, well, I'd applied for a grant, but I didn't get it. And 2 have now said, I wouldn't have spent it in the right way because I didn't know how. Oh. So know there are tons of free resources. Many times as entrepreneurs, we can feel like we're all alone and isolated, but seek out There's small business development centers in every county in the United States. That may be what you have at your community college. I used to be with those. There's women's business centers. There are all types of other places in your area. Find it. Start networking with other entrepreneurs. I love it when I am talking to other entrepreneurs. Many of my close friends aren't entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And then you throw one in and it's like, we're like all day long. But there's so much you can gain and so much free education out there. Look at not only community colleges, but look at networking events. Many of the co-working spaces now have free trainings and things there. So know that you're not alone. Reach out to other entrepreneurs as well. And just do it. Go for it. Many times the person holding you back is yourself.
Well, I tell you what, Tracy, I'm not going to hold back now. I'm not even a woman, but I'm not going to hold back now.
That's right. There's so many entrepreneurial ventures out there, things that you could be growing your own. I mean, again, you can expand what you're doing already. And many people don't think of that, how many different ways they can grow a business. So get out there and take advantage of all the free services and help that's out there.
Well, Tracy, thank you so much for coming on our show today. I really appreciate it. I think the women and even some male entrepreneurs are going to enjoy looking at this podcast today. I think you gave a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets, and some gold pieces there for us to tackle with.
Oh, great. I'm so glad I could do that. Mitchell, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for joining me, Mitchell Rivers, for another terrific episode of the Career Education Learning Center podcast, where we're making your career dreams a reality. God bless.